Welcome to Ex Machina. Join us as we explore the mysteries of this world. Cryptids, monsters, macabre tales, and horror stories abound. Could they be true? Are monsters real?
Good evening, folks, and thank you for joining us on another edition of DEA Ex Machina. In the house tonight is Robbie Rip Rains, and the little man himself, Doc, is back in the house. Doc, how the hell are you, brother?
Wyatt, I am rolling.
God, we missed you, brother. Glad to have
Missed
you
y'all
back with
too,
us.
man. Missed y'all too.
Well, you know, we understand, though. You've been busier than a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest.
Dude, like a one-armed man in a paper hanging contest. You ain't wrong. It has been busy, but that's good. Thankful.
And for those of you who are surprised we're here tonight, they postponed my surgery until the 19th. We were heading for the hospital. I mean, we were about to walk out the door for the hospital when they called me on Tuesday morning, and they're like, "Hey, have you ever left yet? Have you?" I'm like, "No." They're like, "Well, this doctor's sick, so we're gonna have to postpone." I'm like, "God dang it!" So now I've still got that hanging over my head like the sword of Damocles, but we'll get through it. So another couple weeks, I think it's 2 weeks from Friday, then we'll go back. Going back in
thereabouts.
That done. Boys, what have you guys been up to?
By 260.
About 5'6", 180. Getting in there.
Doc, we sure missed you the other night over when we were in Combs Ferry.
Man, I missed y'all too. Yeah, those pictures Robbie sent me, it looked like it might have got a little bit sporty there for a minute.
It was
It
pretty
got a little bit hairy. Let's just put it that way.
Pardon the pun.
Yeah.
No pun intended. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Maybe just a little bit of pun intended.
A little bit.
Well, I'm glad we're sitting here talking instead of y'all being turned into fertilizer.
Missing 411.
Exactly.
We did not become cryptid excrement.
Yeah, exactly.
I can see the headlines now. Local fat guy and author disappears.
Oh man. Well, all's well that ends well.
That's true.
I mean, DA said it, and I'm just going to echo it. He said that was one of the best investigations that he's been on, and 100%. I mean,
rub salt in it, Robbie. Just go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, I wish I could have been there with y'all, man. We'd have completed the fire team.
Hell yeah. You were definitely missed.
Mm.
But Dark Angel was represented. We had kits galore.
Yeah, we had about 10 dark kits.
Well, if anything went pear-shaped, y'all definitely had some bleeding control on board. That's for damn sure.
We could definitely stop the bleed.
Steve was subbing for you, Doc.
Oh, good. Well,
he was temp doc.
Fellow man nurse. That's all right.
Temp doc, I like that.
Temp doc. It's like my buddy Homer's got a patch that said he was an infantry guy, and he loves medical stuff. And he's got a patch that says medic ... kinda.
A T-shirt that I wanted to get you just to mess with you, Doc. It says "World's okayest medic."
I'd wear the hell out of that. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm gonna have to get it for you now.
I would wear the hell out of that. Medic, kinda. I'm like a medic, only smaller.
Just for small wounds.
Yeah.
It's just for small wounds. That's right, Mark Napier, because blood belongs in the body. That's science.
It's science.
It's trademarked.
Heard that a time or two.
Couple of times.
Speaking of science, I've got some science for you. If you buy a package of bacon and it's not resealable, that's one serving.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
absolutely. Yeah. Angie and I have had that discussion because she bought a pack of bacon one time, and then I saw her, she'd got this big old freaking Ziploc bag and stuck it down. And I was like, whoa. What are you doing? And she's like, well, I'm saving it. No. When you crack the seal, that's a serving of bacon. I'm just saying. Just saying. And then you got that bacon grease in your drippings can or your mason jar. Stick it in the fridge.
Luckily, we wasn't baking for nothing that night.
Yeah, well, and luckily y'all didn't have any bacon grease on you because you might have been fertilizer.
Might have been. Things did get a touch hairy a few times.
Man,
though.
Yeah. Well, I remember when Robbie
Especially
said
there at the end when there was just 3 of us still on the ground waiting to get pulled out by the boat. They were starting to get a little brave then.
Yeah.
There was never a point where I felt threatened enough where I reached for a firearm. But there was a number of times I was getting the light out like, what did I just freaking hear?
Well, I guarantee you your spidey sense was up there. Just like that night me and you was in Joe Bald. And we saw that weird freaking eye shine go, zip, and then went zip again the other way.
And Doc and I are both like, what was that?
Yeah, you know what? I think it might be about time to go back to the car.
Let's get the hell out of here 30.
Yeah.
But seeing that Joe Ball this time just felt like a normal place.
It did.
Really?
Every time we've had something odd in Joe Bald, it's been in the fall.
Okay, well, yeah. That's just when you and I went.
Yeah, it was late
And
in the
dude,
year.
you and I we weren't even in there 10 minutes, man.
Right.
When the weirdness started
just
occurring.
got there.
Literally had just got there and walked in and were scanning when that weirdness happened. Holy
Got a question
crap.
there, Doc.
Doc, I've been waiting for you to get back so I could ask you, have you told your wife you're a hoto mataneo? Yeah, actually I have. And
Mike is going to let the cat out of the bag for you.
Yeah, I showed her the excerpt in the book, and she's like, okay.
Roxanne says, if y'all had chicken fried bacon.
Yes.
I've had bacon a lot of ways, but I don't think I've ever had a chicken fried.
I've had chicken fried bacon in Bryan, Texas, and you know what they brought you to dip it in? Sausage gravy. Come on.
Dude, that sounds amazing.
Call your cardiologist, children, because it was like Christmas all up in here. I ain't gonna lie. It was good.
Yeah, I think the most activity we get, especially in Joe Bald, is once we're past the peak hot months. September through like December, I think is when we're going to get the most activity.
Robbie, when y'all find the Krispy Kremes up there?
That was
me. That was
same time of year. Whenever I was down there that time.
Yeah,
well, Doc, and check this out. When we went back down to Joe Bald, remember I told you like a year ago they were building a dock. And it was just gone.
Yeah,
a water dock, not a this dock.
Yeah, like for a marina. Yeah, it's back.
Yeah, we got out of the truck or out of the car, and
because it wasn't a month and a half ago.
We were
are they replacing the picnic tables that have been upended?
Nope. But we got out. We were gearing up.
What's going on?
And I looked up, and I'm like, I said, "Da," and he said, "What?" I said, "Look." I pointed. He goes, "Oh my God!"
Is it back there? Is it back there where that car was parked that night, Da?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
It is in the identical spot that we found the pieces of the dock that him and Noah found the last time I was up there.
Well, dog my cats.
And it was sitting right on the area where we found the tracks.
Because the lake was way up.
Way up.
Curiouser and curiouser, folks.
Something odd's going on down there.
Yeah.
I can't put my finger on it, and ain't nobody really wanting to talk about it, but something odd's going on there.
Something really odd is going on down there.
Something wrong here.
Can't quite put my finger on it, but yeah, that's odd. Kind of like putting a tourniquet on. How do you know a tourniquet's on tight enough? You're not bleeding anymore. It's what we call a clue.
Are you still bleeding? And it ain't tight enough.
It ain't tight enough. Or you need another one.
I know a few people that could probably use a tourniquet around the neck.
I know. Yeah, I know several that. Yeah, some of them I've spoken to in the last week. I'm in Northwoods cryptids territory on that one. So yeah.
But yeah, it was just weird because Combs Ferry didn't feel the same level of creepy that Joe Ball did. Felt, there was definitely a feeling there, a weird feeling, but it was nowhere near as creepy as Joe Ball was. But then, like I said, when we were like, well crap, we'll go to Joe Ball, and we're gonna go live from Joe Ball. This will be good. And we get out, and it's just like there's cicadas going off. I mean,
I was like, what the hell, man? It's
yeah, because that night me and DA went, and the night you and DA went, Robbie, zero. It was like poof, nothing. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, that's weird. So now, did Combs Ferry have any activity going on as far as nighttime nocturnal critters or anything like that? The bugs and
very little bit. I mean, there was flying insects,
tons of bugs.
But as far as the ones that makes the noise, little bit, not much.
Yeah, not as much as you'd expect.
You could hear the cicadas, but they were not on Combs Ferry.
Not for this time of year.
Right. You could hear the cicadas.
They were like across the cove and on the other end.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, that's interesting. Oh, shizzle.
You know, when we put in ashore at Combs Ferry, the area where he knows the boat in, you could tell that area wasn't normally underwater. There was lots of brush sticking up out of the water, and he had to actually shove between saplings to get us up to shore. But we had no sooner than he hit shore and he started backing the boat away when we started hearing movement like on two different sides. And I'm like, you hear that, boys? We ain't alone. So Noah busted out the parabolic mic, and he started listening, and he could hear stuff like stepping on tree branches and like cracking sticks. I could hear something breathing really deep, and then not 20 feet from where we put ashore, we found where large rocks, like way bigger than the three of us could lift together, were shoved out into the middle of what was left of the road. Now, Doc, you and I went down to Joe Bald, and the roads were passable. Ain't a road in there passable. You could not get a vehicle through there at all.
At Joe Bald?
No, not in Joe Bald, in Combs Ferry.
In Combs, okay.
We lost. What the heck is going on?
Right.
Somebody talking about a satellite? What the hell?
Man.
Tell him to shut up. Tell that tactical midget to shut up.
I was waiting for Ken to kick in there when the heavy breathing comment came out.
Casey Calloway said, so are they migrating, or did somebody take them out? I think they're migrating. I think the one thing we've noticed here in the Midwest is the activity seems to be on an uptick in the spring and in the fall. That's not to say you won't have sightings in other parts of the year, but the biggest number of sightings seems to be especially in the fall, but also in the spring. So I think that we're in part of their migratory range, because we know, well, not necessarily even migration, just a range. Like a mountain lion. A mountain lion's got it's like 200, 220 mile range.
Yeah.
And that's for a solitary big cat. Imagine a family group of large primates.
Yeah, I mean, because they found the Yellowstone wolves down here in Colorado, and that's a fur piece.
That is
several hundred miles. So
and I just like I said, different feeling in Combs Ferry than in Joe Ball. It felt more like a territorial thing. Like we talked about this, Joe Ball felt predatory. It felt like we were being stalked.
Yeah,
But
it absolutely did. I agree with that.
Gary felt more like a predatory thing, like stay back.
Right.
Well,
Like,
and
why are you here?
from the photo evidence, I was just telling Angie before we started the show when we was talking backstage. I told Angie about the pictures you had sent, and she's like, "What in the world?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "That sounds like a barker. Like, hey, these are our boundaries."
Well, I showed the pictures to my stepdad, and he said only two things do that. It just for to find either one of those things would have been odd.
Yeah.
Obviously, but to find them within 20 yards of each other, and on opposite sides of the road,
right.
That to me is just like,
absolutely. And the migratory post that you just put up too, DA, I would add to that because primates don't migrate, but
they still have a range because they can't stay in one area. They
True.
need all the vegetation.
True, but are these really primates? You know what I mean?
I think we're, well, humans are technically primates.
True,
but I think they're more on the hominid end of things than they are.
I mean, but then
more intelligent, and I think that unlike most gorillas, I think their diet is probably largely protein.
So let's go to the hominids then. If we're going to go to hominids, let's go to the Plains Indians. Were they not a nomadic migratory tribe?
Yeah.
What did they follow?
The buffalo.
Yeah.
Followed the game.
Yeah. And I think
Naoma just hit on that. Right then.
The greater primates may not migrate per se, but Homo sapiens are known to be nomadic, especially if they're not, if they haven't progressed to the point where they're an agrarian society, where they're not growing all of their own food. They naturally have to follow the food sources.
I think it's just a big home range. I don't think it's a true migration. I just because I don't know how many times the three of us have said it. If you had, let's say, a family group or a clan or whatever is, let's say 20. Let's just use that number. 20 large animals like that, if they stayed in a small range or a small peninsula like Combs Ferry, they'd eat that food out in a day.
It'd be cleared out, son.
I also want to show you guys something. Let me bring this up. Give me just a second.
Yeah, it'd be cleared out quicker than a fat kid in a candy store. And that's quick.
Yep. Like we said, if a mountain lion needs 250-mile range for a 150-pound cat, bears are roughly the same, maybe a little bit bigger. Grizzly's probably a little bit bigger than that.
I mean,
things like this.
Holy caloric intake, that man.
Let me show you guys something. And this is the aerial Google map of Combs Ferry. Now this out here is actually Combs Ferry. This is another peninsula. There's a couple of houses over here. But when we pull back, you start to get a look at just how much green they've got to deal with. And this area over here on Table Rock is largely undeveloped and unpopulated.
And a lot of waterways, a lot of tributaries moving in there.
Yeah, lots of water down through there. Several big lakes, lots of rivers, lots of springs and camp and creeks.
So they got fish, that wildlife galore: turkey, rabbit, squirrel, deer, armadillo, raccoons.
We ran into one of them little jokers too. Scared the crap out of some of us.
Oh, the up armored possum.
Yep, we saw a tactical armored possum.
Yep, that's what they is.
Yeah, when we put in right about here. You can see my mouse. And then we moved out to the tip, and I would be willing to bet that dark light spot right there, Robbie, is probably that track trap we found, because we were off track at that point. And
up there to top, tippy top.
And then we proceeded all the way back down to this spot, which was the old boat ramp. we did not explore the entire peninsula. I definitely want to get back in there and hit it again. I want to go in longer this time because this whole side of the peninsula over here we didn't really get into.
And
we came back down this side, but we didn't get to the other side.
And something else that we said too, and Doc, you chime in on this for your opinion on it. Like we said, we didn't feel like it was aggressive, but maybe that was because we had 7 people with us. We kind of felt like if we'd had
armed.
a few less,
True.
maybe it would have been a little bit different.
Well, when we were just us there at the end, they were starting to get closer.
Yeah.
You said they were paralleling y'all. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, we could hear them. Got rocks thrown at us a few times.
When we yeah.
The undergrowth was so thick we couldn't find the rocks that were chucked at us. I mean, this Doc, you know how Joe Ball, the undergrowth is kind of taken over, but that you could still get up to those campsites.
Yeah.
You could still drive all those roads.
Yeah.
Combs Ferry is nothing like that. Combs
So
Ferry is almost post-apocalyptic.
Totally
it looks post-apocalyptic. If you could get a vehicle in there, you couldn't take it down the roads. They're all, trees knocked over on them, large boulders in the.
So even if I could have made it in there with that 4-wheel drive, we wouldn't have been able to.
No. You can't. You can take a 4-wheeler in there, but you better be idling because there's so much debris in there. You are going to run into something and go flying. I mean, it would be very difficult to take in there.
And how them big old rocks get in the middle of the roadway?
We know that they when they closed it down, they bulldozed off the entrance. But it doesn't make any sense for them to go into the park and literally smash some of the campsites and put these boulders that obviously came from somewhere else.
Tell me about the picnic tabletop.
Yeah, there was one, Doc. You know how big those picnic tables are, those concrete
tables?
Yeah. We found one. The table had been completely destroyed and the benches had too. But about 20, 30 yards away, something had grabbed the tabletop, the intact tabletop off of that picnic table and dropped it in the middle of the road, which was about 30 yards away. The whole tabletop was in the middle of the road. You would have had to have gotten in there with forklifts and heavy equipment. That thing probably weighed, 1,200 to 1,500 pounds. That's 7 feet long by about 4 feet wide by about 7 or 8 inches thick.
You're talking a concrete tabletop about that thick.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's like the tabletops that Joe Ball that we saw.
Yeah, exactly. Same size.
Holy crap, dude.
And
and that was, like you said, if they're locking it in, they wouldn't do that to the interior.
And most of the campsites, the old campsites in Combs Ferry, most of them were destroyed. We saw very few that were even remotely in any kind of shape.
That's interesting.
And again, you look at them and you don't see marks from like jackhammers or marks from, sledgehammers or even explosives. These things were just broken.
Yeah, and maybe this stuff was done a long time ago, but there was no sign, no track marks, no. There
hadn't been a vehicle here in probably 40 years.
Well, and in the tabletop thing, those things are set into rebar.
Yep. Well, you can see in one of the pictures of the bottom of the table, you can still see the rebar sticking out of the bottom of the legs.
Let me pull up that picture because we didn't send all of them to you, Doc.
Yeah, I just sent you the 2 spooky ones.
Yeah. No, I only got that one, Robbie. When you said something about the fish head, I only saw the.
I sent it to you. You didn't get that one. I didn't know you didn't get that one. Sorry.
No.
You know what? We're just going to run through all these photos.
Let's look at them. Let me put on my spectacles.
We'll run through them one at a time.
My doctor glasses.
Okay. This is that track trap we found. And that phone that's an iPhone, I believe, is laying right next to where one of those tracks are. And you'll be able to see the tracks better in some of the other pictures. I don't know what order these are in. I'm just going to scroll through them one at a time. There's some of the rocks that were in the middle of the road. That's a full tree. And it's not cut.
Holy crap, dude.
Those were what and he's standing in what's left of the road.
So that's previously a road that he's
Yeah,
standing. in.
that's the he is
like the
standing in
road
the
to Joe
middle of
Ball.
what's left of the road.
Jesus.
That's a tree that was pushed over. Now you can see some of these branches look like they've been cut, but the tree over here in the bushes was uprooted from the ground. There's another shot. That's a wallet. You can see the
That's
impression of
Steve's Ridge wallet.
Hmm.
Now that track, it was. Well, I know some of the other pictures are better. Oh, let me get back to that. But yeah, you can kind of see where that track is, and some of the shadows. There's more than one track in there, but that dirt was so flaky and dry because of the heat lately. If we'd have tried to pour casting material in it, it just would have fallen apart.
But we had it with us.
Yes, we did.
From DA's mountain experience, Smoky Mountain experience.
Gonna make sure I got some casting material.
Yeah, exactly.
Now this is beneath the tree. See the blood?
Yep.
And all the fur. And see the limb right at the bottom of the picture, Doc? It's got blood on that limb.
That's when I keyed in on that whenever you sent that to me.
Now, for everybody out there in the audience, Doc, how fresh is that for that blood to still be red like that on that tree?
That's pretty fresh because blood oxidizes and it turns darker with age.
Yeah, kind of a rust brown.
Yep, rust brown. Yep.
And in this one, you can see the tree's not very big. It's maybe the diameter of a softball. There's another there. You can see the track better.
Ooh, yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was not castable.
There.
Yeah.
That's what we refer to as a Missouri tree trout now.
Wow, dude, that is so weird.
And it's stuck right in the V of a sapling.
And tell everybody out there, DA, because we were talking about this backstage. There's like double and triple canopy above that.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And for those of y'all who do not know what double and triple canopy is, that's like the layer of leaves and trees.
There were a lot of big trees around us, but mostly along the trail are saplings and smaller pines and scrubs.
That's so
and for
weird.
this to have just been shoved right into the crook of that tree, no bird did that.
Yeah, that wasn't dropped through that triple canopy either.
Right.
Nah.
Yes.
And that's a cedar tree that's got the bark stripped off it to about 15 feet up.
With the shadow of Steve's hand taking a picture.
Yeah. Yeah, that cedar had the bark stripped off of it about at least 15 feet up.
Holy shnikes.
And we talked about the bark of cedar's got a lot of medicinal properties. Plus, it also repels bugs.
Mm-hmm.
There's another one of the deer.
Yeah, that's still pink.
Yeah.
That's still got some pinkish hinge to it. Wow.
No maggots, no flies, no nothing around it.
And the fish head were jammed. That fish head was jammed in that crotch of that tree. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And that was, in my estimation, in my opinion, that was put there.
How high up?
I agree.
About 7.5, 8 feet.
7.5. Yeah, between 7.5 and 8 feet.
So the fish head and the deer were both about 7.5, 8 feet.
Fish head was probably about 4 feet,
about
5. Well, maybe 6.
It was pretty close to head level.
Okay.
So between 5 and 6, I would guess. I mean, we looked right at it. It wasn't like we had to look down at it or anything. It was right at head level. It was right where it was supposed to be seen.
So I'd have to look up, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Something like that.
That is interesting.
I wasn't going to say that.
I said it for y'all.
But since you did,
That's more of the deer fur.
Huh.
I don't know why that one's in there for.
Ken just said head level for who?
Not you, Ken.
It's head level for Ken if he was on Arby's shoulders. There's another angle on the fish, and you can see it's good stuff down in the crotch of that tree.
Yeah,
pretty hard.
that's not just haphazardly placed there.
Right. That's another one of the trees with the stripped bark. Another one of the deer leg. There's the blood again.
That is, yeah, that's pretty fresh, dude. That is interessante.
Oh, and this is one of the tracks that Wyatt found where they parked the truck when they put the boat in.
Dang, dude.
Yeah. So there's definitely some activity in that area, and we definitely want to go back in.
Holy, that's some good freaking tracks, dude.
And that's in rocky soil.
Yeah.
Wyatt said he tried to press down on it, and Wyatt probably weighs 240, 250, if I had to guess. And he said he couldn't make an impression in the gravel.
That's some good freaking tracks. So that's something that's got to weigh 600 to 800 pounds, easy.
Yeah,
at least.
At least.
Said there were some smaller partials, but said that it was possible they could have been people, but again, they're pushed down in the gravel.
And that, how big did we say that wallet was? 3 inches?
Yeah.
So you
four. I'm sorry, it's 4.5.
4.5 inches. You could have probably fit 4 of those wallets.
Yeah, 16. Right. So the smaller tracks could be heavier juveniles.
Yeah. And Doc, this was taken from the boat. The guy that brought us in on the boat, his name is Richard. He took
is that
this from the boat.
Peeking up over the bushes?
Yes, it is. And he said, "There's something looking at me. He keeps popping out from behind this tree."
Over the bushes.
There was a light fog on the lake, and this is the best image he could get. But you can see that's very definitely eye shining. From the height of it, it's pretty high up.
Yeah, that's like 6.5, 7.5 feet.
Ground level down here.
Yeah. That's about 7.5, 8 feet, man.
And he started directing us toward it. We started heading for it, and we heard it head off into the trees. So the closer we got, the farther it left from us.
Like, why are you taking us there? Why are you moving me to that? Wow.
You can still see pink on that right there.
Yeah, you can. That's what I was saying, man. That's fresh.
What is this bit right here? Is this a piece of intestine or something?
Could be. It's hard to tell. I ain't got my screen enlarged.
I think it's just like it could be, or some sinuous material or something.
Yeah. Oh, there's one of the smashed. That's what's left of one of the campsites.
Holy shnikes. Damn, Sam. That's a lot of scrimp right there.
Yep.
Angela Monroe has a good question for you, DA.
What's that?
Since tomorrow is 4th of July, how upset do you think fireworks make cryptids?
Well, the bright lights in the sky might, attract them. They might think that's really wild, but the loud noises, they're probably not going to like. So I'd say if you live in the country and you're putting off fireworks, you might have something spectating, because these things are pretty curious. I mean, they got the same curiosities we do. So if they're seeing fireworks, oh, what's that? What's making that? The loud noises probably be a little off-putting for them. But I would imagine the light show would attract them.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
My
I think that's
my loud noises would be followed by lead projectiles.
cordless hole puncher.
Correct.
And you can see the eyeballs missing.
Oh Lord, Vicky, I hope you're okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, Vicky. I hope you're all right.
Lord have
I just
mercy.
saw the comment after Doc said that. We'll be praying for you.
Yeah.
That's part of one of the tabletops.
Dude, those things are not.
Look at that
They are.
rebar.
There's that rebar that Robbie was talking about. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Mercy day.
I mean, here's the thing: you might can explain one, maybe even two of these things.
Correct.
But it's like we say in law enforcement about totalitarian
Totality of the circumstances.
of the circumstances. When you start adding, you get one thing here, and you start adding these things up.
Yeah, I mean, it ain't a coincidence after that.
ED said we got a super sticker. I didn't see it. Thank you. Whoever gave us the super sticker, thank you. I didn't
see it either.
Pop up on the screen.
It usually pops up. I didn't see it either. Hey, boys, I'll be right back.
I didn't see it pop up at all.
Well, it probably won't pop up in the screen if it came through when we have this. It probably just rolled through in the chat. And that's probably why. Because if we were going through these pictures and you had the screen shared, it wouldn't pop up on the screen.
But if you notice on this, you don't see any tool marks on this. It hasn't been hit with a hammer or anything like that. It's just busted.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's that twisted rebar. There's the lot of us. Group of weirdos.
Yep.
And that was by the red light when we were doing the safety briefing.
I just, like I said, you can explain away one, maybe two things, but when you start adding up all that stuff that we saw, it's just hard to. I don't know. It's hard to say, oh yeah, that was this. Oh yeah, it was that.
Right.
Because I've showed people since we got back. I've showed them, hey, what do you think of this? Oh, cougar did that. You ever seen a cougar climb a tree that was about that big around? Well, no. Well, that's how big around that tree is.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
to me, it doesn't make sense for that to be a cougar at all.
Why it don't make sense?
One, cougars don't kill that way.
No. And that's the thing. And once I point that out, okay, well, if a cougar did that, why does it look like it was ripped and twisted like an alligator got a hold of it and did a death roll?
Thank you, Angela. Appreciate that. Angela Monroe sponsored the channel. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Angela.
And Susan Reiner Sue Dahl. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll go with what he said. AJ, thank you.
Hey, thanks, AJ. And said Wyatt Estes is a member. Somebody said it gifted him a membership. It's moving by.
Thank you, Ed. Ed Peak sponsored the channel too.
Hey, thank you guys. It is a new month. We can give away some free memberships to the channel too.
Let me California. Hey, you sponsored the channel, DA.
I did?
Yeah, DA Roberts Author sponsored the channel.
Holy crap.
All right, boys. I had to let the chickens in.
Somebody gifted some memberships, and I don't know who it was, but thank you so much.
Abby Howes was gifted a membership by Blue Devil 23.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, Penny. Well, what's going on? I mean, these things are just like rolling in.
No kidding. Well, I'm gonna do 5 more. So I'm fixing to
Blue
do,
Devil 23 has 50 gifted memberships.
holy crap! Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, Blue Devil.
Thank you, Blue Devil 23. I'm sorry, guys. I had to let the chickens in.
Not a problem.
My protein
Yeah.
makers.
DA, you might want to hold off on the
Yeah,
other ones.
he gifted 50, so those are going to be rolling for a few minutes.
Wow.
Hey, Blue Devil, again, thank you so much. That is absolutely awesome. Thank you. And everybody that's got a gift membership, uh, check out some of the exclusive videos that are on the channel. You'll also have access to different icons that emoticons that not everybody else has. There's some pretty cool ones in there. But as soon as we get a chance to get the videos we shot this last week when Robbie was in town, as soon as we get all those edited together, those are going to be up in the exclusive membership members area as well here on the YouTube.
Probably the shofar videos.
Yeah,
That was
Nathan playing the shofar.
That was interesting, Doc. Hey, I wish you could have been there for that one too.
Yeah,
Oh, I heard. Well, he sent me the video of was it Noah?
Nathan.
Nathan.
Well, Blue Devil, thank you so much. He says, have to support somebody from my home state. Well, we sure appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Blue Devil. We appreciate you, man. That's awesome. That's very gracious and unexpected, but much appreciated.
Very much so. Thank you. I'll wait till those stop alerting before I give away some.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Holy moly. Yeah, I guess those are going to be popping up for 50 of them. They're going to be popping up for a minute.
DA, Robin Ray, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. They postponed the surgery until the 19th, so I'm still feeling a little run down. But hopefully, once that's installed and they get it all working the way it's supposed to be working, it'll straighten out some of my issues, and I should be back to causing problems and being my usual miscreant self.
I know how you feel, DA. Mostly with your hands. I knew Robbie would laugh at that.
That's why we missed you.
I know. I missed
John Wayne Gates. Yeah, I said I was late getting here. Where were those pictures taken? Those were in Combs Ferry, an old abandoned campground on Table Rock Lake. A little tough to get into since they bulldozed it off. We went in last Monday night, a week ago Monday night, by boat and did a little boots on the ground investigating. It was a good night.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yes, it was. They're still rolling in.
Yeah, they are.
Thank you, David. I strive for my dad jokes.
He's good at them.
Doc does well.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
On his dad jokes. Hey, it's past the bottom of the hour. Do you want to take a second? Tell us a little bit about Dark Angel.
Why,
about
yes.
About a minute.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll
So,
up there we go.
So for those of you who are not acquainted with Dark Angel Medical, head over to darkangelmedical.com and check our website out. You may have recognized the name from a lot of DA's books dating back to the Ragnarok Rising series back in 2012. That's when DA and I first started talking and met. And so he's used our med kits and he's advised with me consulted with me the 2 o'clock in the morning, hey fucker, you up? Phone calls. So we have tried to make the medical scenarios in these books as realistic as possible. And one of the things we do in our website is not only do we provide you with the medical products, we provide you with medical training so that should you need to use those products, you are prepared. Just in the last week, I've had emails from 2 students of mine who have taken our full 2-day course who have utilized the products to save their lives. So
Awesome.
that's a pretty awesome testimonial right there. So that's 188 people now who are walking around with another birthday. So we make anything from a minor first aid kit, your minor trauma kit, to a major trauma kit, somebody's bleeding to death, to multiple casualty kits. And we stand behind every one of them with what we call our kit for life guarantee. So all you need to do is use one of those kits to save your life or somebody else's life. Let us know what's going on and what happened, and we will replace everything you've utilized absolutely 100% free of charge. We do a 2-day training class in person. We do a 2-day training class online, and we also do some free online training on our YouTube channel as well. So head over to YouTube and like and subscribe and check our training out, our videos out. And if you utilize one of our kits, like I said, the Kit for Life Guarantee, but all of our kits are HSA and FSA eligible as well. So head over there and use Cryptid20. Don't look at the chat. That's Cryptid25. That's the old code. Cryptid20. CRYPTID20 for 20.
Stream elements.
That's fine. Yeah. Yeah, stream elements. But
the band in between us is right.
Yeah, Cryptid20, that is a non-expiring code. That's a way of us saying thank you for being part of the Ex MachiNation and continuing with us on this journey. So that's darkangelmedical.com. And we're booking for 2025 right now. So if you want to come see us, come see us. And be the difference, like DA said. That was probably more than a minute. So,
well, Dark Angel was well represented on the ground.
Well, no, and I appreciate that. I mean, that gives
all 4 of my kits there, plus Robbie's, and I think someone else had a kit, a couple of them.
I mean, I have outfitted the Wild Hunt fellas pretty well. So I want to make sure that everybody has had stuff, and I know Robbie's placed some orders as well. Ken Brock has his whole family outfitted with our kits. Eric Testerman, old ED Testerman, man, I appreciate you, brother. You have done it. So y'all, I will say this strong. You are way more likely to use that medical kit than you ever will that little sweet blaster that you might carry with you. And medical is something that's overlooked, it's under-prioritized, and underemphasized. So check it out. We will have a good time, and you can ask Robbie. He's been through my class. You will have a good time while you're learning. It's 16 hours of medical stand-up.
That is the most accurate description and statement that you will ever hear, because it was.
That's what my buddy Homer said. He said it's literally 16 hours of medical stand-up. So I cannot take credit for it. So if any of you folks are in Texas and the Bryan College Station area, head over to Block Life Industry Security Solutions. That's Bliss Industries over in Bryan College Station over there on Ranger Drive, and give my buddy Homer a shout out. And he's the one that told me that it was 16 hours of medical stand-up.
Well, the class we were in probably got a little bit extra, because
it did.
Me, you, and Ken together, that was a little bit extra than.
Ken just said that Robbie doesn't want to go through another class with my daughter, though. Sophia's like, she takes no prisoners, man.
Well, it's bad when Ken had to say ease up, because he takes pleasure from my pain, and he had to tell her to ease up. Yeah. I didn't really tell you how bad it was.
Yeah, Sophia takes no prisoners. I will say that. Sophia takes no prisoners. Even with me, like when I was handling the snake, when Kim brought that little python out, oh, she's the least aggressive one. Yeah, still a snake.
Justin Oldfart said, "How do you know if you got the membership?" It should have announced it in the chat. And you'll also be able to, like, if you go to the Ex Machina homepage here on YouTube, you'll see that you've now got access to membership videos. I'm going to give away 5 now myself.
Yeah, because Kim was just asking about that, DA, about the membership. How do you know if you got one? So
yeah, it should announce it there in the chat, but should see it pop up on screen too. I'm gifting 5 right now, so 5 more are popping up. Stan Hoff got one. Nathan Finn got one. Katie Finnerty got one. Nick S got one. And Kim Duville got one. So that's the 5 we gave away. YouTube allows me to give away 10 a month, and I try to break them up over more than one show. Oh, Michelle N says your name will be green in the chat. Okay. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I think it's white if you're regular, green if you're a channel member, and then mods and others are blue.
You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and give away all of them tonight, and then we won't have to worry about it later. So 5 more coming up. Steph the Contractor got one. Chris K got one. Freaky Geek got one. Moonchild got one. West Coast Dogman got one. So Shane got one. Awesome.
Shane!
I didn't even know he was in there. I didn't see him.
And neither.
Oopsie.
So if we can get you boys out here like we were talking about possibly November. Yeah, it's going to be a little chilly, but I'd like to get into Combs Ferry.
Well, that's fine. We ain't got to worry about snakes.
Snakes or ticks.
Yeah, screw all of them. And like I said, I should, if I don't have to teach that class in Scottsdale, I should be able to make that one. Let's do a little.
That'd be a good time.
Yeah, I do too. And Robbie, will you have some days off by then?
I mean, we'll be back in school, so I wouldn't be able to go probably a whole week, but you know, we could
do like a long weekend or something.
Yeah, maybe like Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Well, and I've also been doing a little more digging on Smiddle Cave, Bobby. And
really?
Yeah. I've discovered something that I didn't know. I only knew about the main cave, the main Smiddle Cave. Apparently, there are 2 other caves on that property. One's called Lowell Cave, and I can't remember what the other one's called. But there are 2 other caves in that vicinity that are not sealed.
Really? So that's the cave with a big gate.
The one they sealed off.
Okay. Okay.
Interesting.
So the cave with the big old Bigfoot gate, there's 2 other caves that are not sealed off.
Right.
Are they?
How far away?
They're within hiking distance of that of Smiddle.
Is that going to be the same cave system, or
would bet money they connect?
So and that begs, go ahead, Robbie. I was just going to say that begs the question: if they connect and they're not sealed, what the hell's that gate for then?
Yeah, have they done a USGS survey on those, on all of those entrances? I'd like to see a map.
I do not know, but Robbie, that area when we went back there that night, and when we pulled past that little parking area with the trailhead, and there was somebody camping right there. One of them's right there, just back in the wood.
Really, that's not far at all. Then
they almost said those caves don't have openings big enough to allow bats in and out.
Well, those caves have some big openings.
Okay, so
every one of them that I found, you could drive a truck in them.
Yeah, you drive a deuce and a half through that one with a gate on it.
Oh, yeah. That thing's huge. You could drive a 5.
Huge.
Yeah, Dad Brown says, do you hear Coonbo Baker has a cave like that on his land? When he was talking about how they came out and put chain link over that fence and over that cave and it kept getting torn down, that's what made me question about Smiddle. You know, why they would need something that heavy to seal that off. Because if it was just to keep people out, chain link could do just fine.
Sure would.
There's a little bit of water that comes out of that cave, but not enough to tear down a chain link fence.
You show you little trick, take your mind off that pain. Yeah, that's some major.
Pressure.
You might feel some pressure. That's some major pain business right there, man. Seriously, that's not skeeters and bats.
Yeah.
But now another place we went, Doc, it was really creepy and had the creepy vibe, but we didn't have. I mean, we had a few little things. Moon Valley. You standing out there on that little bridge. Now, you remember the story he wrote about the two cops that were on the little bridge and had the firefight with the dogman?
Yeah,
we went there.
sweet.
That place,
Creepy.
Yeah.
Creepy.
But I think it's creepy for a whole different reason. DA, I'll let you tell that part.
Was it like diddling ding 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 creepy or?
Well, just above the edge of the valley. You can Google this. This is publicly available information. Back in 2019, there were two guys that were arrested for abducting and eating people. It's called the Dallas County Cannibal. And right after those two went to jail, their house burnt down mysteriously. So I think there was other people involved.
I remember us talking about that, DA.
House is burnt down. Ain't much of it
That's
left.
like a long time ago we talked about that.
Yeah. Well, I took Robbie right to it. And we found something else even weirder. That house where those cannibals lived, that'll give you the heebie-jeebies.
Testament says that's where he lives.
Yeah. Back down the road toward the valley, just set off the edge of the road, is this little weird village that somebody built there. It's not it's not next to anybody's house. There's no houses next to it. There's barely even a place to get off the road there. But it says it's a little girl's playhouse. It's got a mailbox.
Margaret's Playhouse or something like that.
Yeah, Margaret's Playhouse or something like that. And it's got little gnome figures and shit. And it's set back off the road. I mean, it's behind the fence. All that weird shit's right there. And it was hard to find now that it's summertime. But when I was up there last fall, it was pretty easy to spot from the road. It's creepy. It's weird.
No, I have two guns, one for each of you. So, dude, I love what Naomi just said. Everyone considered them the cannibals of the county. Sung in my best Kenny Rogers voice. I miss Naomi.
The weird thing is they only convicted those guys on one count. They couldn't prove any others, but they suspected they've been doing it for decades.
This is why you don't buy jerky at roadside stores, folks.
Well, supposedly, also, and people that still live out there, I've talked to a few folks, they don't want to talk about the cannibal story. And I think I know why. Because those guys were kind of infamous for giving deer meat to their neighbors.
Oh, no.
I wonder how many people
talk about it either.
Oh my Lord in heaven. God.
And just up the road from them, I told Robbie, you're going to like this part, Doc. Just up the road from them is another place, and we had our curiosity about this. I'm not going to make any accusations on the air. I'll let you guys draw your own conclusions. This is just up the road from the cannibal house. There's a house with a bunch of like run-down old trailers and stuff, and across the road from the house with all the like hillbilly run-down trailers is a field full of old cars, and some of them are fairly new.
That's the same place I made, Doc.
A la Dusk Till Dawn.
A la Wrong Turn.
There's a bunch of them out there.
A la Hills Have Eyes.
Some of them look like they date back to like the 50s.
Holy Alfred Packerback, man.
And some of them are much more modern.
Good night, Irene. Sheesh.
Robbie and I were saying, wonder what would happen if we ran some of them VIN numbers, if there's any of them left.
Bro. Yeah, they're probably all like, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably all met the angle grinder. Holy
Yeah, we were a little concerned about that.
You want some pulled pork? You want some pulled people? They taste the same.
Put enough barbecue sauce on it.
Ugh. That's like an MRE with freaking enough hot sauce. You just get past. It's like Lewis Gates Wilderness Stew. Once you get past the taste, it ain't so bad.
That's just the hard peppercorn.
Ugh. Have y'all ever seen Last of the Dogman?
Yes, great movie.
Okay,
Tom Berenger.
I figured y'all had. Great movie.
Great movie.
Yeah. That's horrifying, dude.
So yeah, that place was creepy, but I don't know if I was getting creepy vibes because there was cryptids there, or because I knew there was,
or because you might have been on the menu.
Wrong Turn was filmed there.
Yeah, you might have been on the menu. Who knows? You might have been on the menu from the cryptids or the people.
They were looking at me and Robbie and going, "Man, look at the marbling on that one."
These are things you don't say at an autopsy.
We're like Wagyu people.
Again, things you don't say at an autopsy.
Ooh, backstrap.
Yeah.
Ooh, tenderloin.
Horrible. We are horrible people, and we apologize for that. So,
But we're probably going to do it again
yes,
within the next 5 minutes, more than likely.
More likely.
yes. Well,
Yeah,
and
so
Naoma said
there's
this.
any connection. Oh, go ahead.
Naoma says there are those who say that pork is a no-no in some religions because of the similarity to human meat. This is also why we use pigs in live tissue training, because they are so anatomically similar to human beings. So I can understand that. So, but I'm gonna still eat the hell out of some ribs and pulled pork. Just saying.
Oh, give me some good brisket.
Nom 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 nom. And some bacon. Give me that pork belly.
Gotta have some bacon.
So, but it still had a cryptid feel to it, also. But
well,
it's just when you're down there and you're like,
so far, but they were distant.
Yeah.
Doc, have you ever heard of shofar?
The horn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sent you that video of Nathan, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
And when he was playing it down there and it was echoing down the valley, Robbie and I both got goosebumps. You could just feel it.
That was cool.
It was.
I heard it echoing down both sides of the valley.
I looked at D. I said, "Look, I'm getting freaking goosebumps." He said, "Me too."
Noah was on the.
That's some Old Testament stuff right there, man.
Noah was on the parabolic, and he was like pointing up and down the valley. Nathan would play the shofar, and then he'd pause to take a breath, and Noah would start listening with the parabolic, and he could hear responses from both directions up the river, but they never got close.
What kind of responses was he getting?
He said what he was hearing was like they were mimicking the call.
Wow.
He said it sounded very similar to what Nathan had just played.
Did you do any mouth pops while you're out there?
I did. Didn't get any responses to that because, they'll carry pretty far, but I don't think I had quite the volume to carry as far as that shofar was. So I did tongue pops there. I did tongue pops down at Smiddle Cave. Then we also did them Combs Ferry right before we pulled out. And we even once we backed off on the boat, I did them from the boat, and Robbie did a screen.
We need to get a Team Odin megaphone.
That we're guaranteed make the tongue pops go a long ways.
I'm just saying. I was just thinking about that. Pro show.
Get me one of those like the guy from Police Academy had.
Winslow.
Are you waiting for the dim shoe to stare off?
Yeah. At least it wasn't the freaking Aztec death whistle.
We had that and never played it. Oh
We
my
had
God, I can't believe we forgot
Oh,
it.
thank God. Y'all might not be sitting here if you had that, son gun.
David
We
Neal
had
said
it. We just
we just forgot about it.
Dude, that thing
David
is.
Neal says, was the horn you recorded was the same kind you wrote about in Apex Predator Dark Moon? Yes, absolutely.
10
In fact,
affirmative.
if y'all would like, I'll play that short video real quick, and y'all can hear it for yourselves. Those of you who might not have been listening the other night when we played it, so I'm going to play it again. Here we go. And since that was recorded, he's been practicing. He can go higher and even a little lower. He said he knows there's registers he can't hit yet.
Well, until he plays Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy of Company C, I'm just saying.
Mark can play one here in the chat. Mark Napier, yeah, he used to play one for his church. So I'd like to see what he can.
Oh, that's
he can
cool.
bring.
K Bowers 8111 dot going on Hassan Chop. No, I had to kill this. We got these Miller moss around our house, so I just chopped it.
I'd never even thought about using a bullhorn for the tongue pops. I'm gonna have to see if I can locate one.
That guy.
I mean, more than just a hat rack, man. Come on.
Well, one of the things we talked about on the last show, and Doc, you weren't here, so we didn't get a chance to chat with you about it. But we talked about, and it looks like we got enough interest to do it, about doing a GoFundMe to get equipment for us to go live out in the woods, because we tried going live down at Joe Bald and the signal was so spotty. But I think I figured out a way to give us a signal booster so we can go live from just about anywhere. Just gotta get the equipment.
I think that would be a fantastic idea.
Yeah. Well, we talked about DA and just me and you talked about that day that me and you just went and rode around.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, there's not a lot of people. I mean, people going out and recording what they do, but there's not a lot of people just out here doing that live. Whatever happens.
Right.
And I think it's something that, if we can make something like that work, I think that'll be really interesting for people.
Miss Naoma said, she had a good comment. She said, about 1 million years ago, I remember hearing Coonbo talk about listening to a call on his computer and inadvertently calling in some Bigfoot around his house. Yeah, I believe that was the Ohio howl that he was playing. But I remember the story, because he said he had it playing over the stereo in his house, and he was like listening to it over and over, and didn't realize how loud it was, and looked out the window and had one of those things, screaming at him at the back of the house. Said he basically hid below the level of the couch until it left.
That'd be a brown pants moment. Dude, that'd be a brown pants moment right there, son. Good Lord.
That's funny. Blue Devil 23 said, my dog heard that and got up and was looking at my tablet. The other day, I can't remember who made the comment, but they said they were listening to the show on their Bluetooth sitting on their porch. And when we played the shofar, it echoed down the valley, and he said everything just went dead quiet.
Wow.
We noticed that down in Moon Valley. Like if he hit a certain note, basically just everything, even the bugs went quiet.
I bet Ranger would have done this.
Oh.
The old German Shepherd head tilt.
I did my tongue pop in the living room the other day, and Harley turned around and growled at me.
Oh, wow.
That's because he's grumpy, though.
Yeah, he's a grouchy little butthead. But I never had him growl at me before.
Yeah. Casey said if somebody
Thank you,
gets
Blue
in to
Devil.
be the highest rated podcast.
Holy cow,
Thank you for
Blue
the super
Devil.
chat. Thank you so much. Thank you, man. I really
Damn.
appreciate it. We are definitely going to put that toward equipment.
As we say,
I
as
definitely
we
want
say
to
in
be able to
Mississippi.
get out and
Damn.
film live.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark Napier says, yeah, even the bugs go quiet. And
Robbie,
we noticed
what-
that in Moon Valley. It wasn't every tone he hit, but there was one tone he would hit. Everything around us went dead for probably 5 minutes.
And Robbie, what were you just saying, man?
Oh, I said Casey said that if one of us got it'd be the highest rated podcast ever.
Yeah, well, you know, if something comes out and comes after us live, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, people are going to be talking about that for a while.
Son, it's going to be the Wild Hunt track team is all I got to say.
Yeah, we're going to have to do the Ranger walk out X
Yeah.
field. Yeah, because my big butt can't run very fast.
Good Lord.
Just going to have to try to be as unappetizing as possible.
Yeah.
Cease, desist, and leave this area now, mister.
That's right.
Almost got
Hopefully
you, didn't I, Doc?
Hopefully the poop would not taste like pepper spray and bear bells. Just saying.
And Northwest
No mercy.
Native Tracker says prey runs. You're right. You know, you break and run, you're going to trigger a predatory response. So yeah, I ain't much for running anyway. So
Man.
Mark Napier says if you blow it just right, it sounds like there's more than one horn blowing. I bet that multi-tonal tone would probably really bring something in.
KC Doc would outrun both of us.
Do what now?
Casey asked who's going to outrun who. I said Doc would outrun both of us.
Oh yeah.
My
Either that
little
or
leg
Doc-
has been making them cartoon sounds. Yeah.
Either that or Doc's going to climb Robbie like a spider monkey and start whipping him like a racehorse.
Or I just shoot both y'all in kneecaps and run. I'm just
We
saying.
love you too, Doc.
That's what this one dude said. He said, "What do you carry for bears in Alaska?" He said, 22. Why 22? He said, "All I gotta do is shoot the dude in the knee next to me, and I gotta run away."
So the important safety tip is always go with somebody we can outrun.
That's right. That's right. No, we would, man. If something, we would be laying down hate. I can see an Australian pill occurring. I can see an Australian pill occurring.
We did discover that you can camp right there by Smiddle Cave. So if we can get that in the fall and set up camp down there and go live, we could film footage. We could send crews out to each of the caves.
And get Nathan to do the horn.
Yeah, get Nathan to come out there with the shofar.
So far, so good.
Oh, that's
Robbie's been
horrible, but that
Robbie's
was
been
so
saving that
good.
one for a while.
That was so good. That was so good. Yeah. Woo! Yeah. He'll be here all week, ladies and gentlemen. All
I
week.
had
Try the
to.
meal.
Sorry,
Man.
not sorry.
It just ain't the same without the three amigos. I'm just saying.
That's right.
Oh, Lord. So far, so good. Holy crap. That's horrible, but I love it. E.D. Testerman, just look him in the eye and say, "I'm a screamer."
Ken, bite my butt, you little midget.
Oh,
Let me get you a ladder first, though.
Oh,
Bravo, Brock. Bravo. That was
nicely
good.
done, Ken.
Nice
Hey, it's,
done.
we're already a quarter after. We kind of overshot things. Robbie, you want to talk a little bit about Scallywag? And you know what? Since we're at it, we'll just go ahead and talk about Ken Brock as well. So you talk about Scallywag for a minute, then I'll talk about Ken. And
I wouldn't mind
Billy
talking
wants to
about
jump
Brock
in.
blades for a minute. Not in a good way. Bring it back in. Scallywag Tactical. As you see, I got a nice new Scallywag toy. I got 2 nice new Scallywag toys. Some of the best blades that you can buy. This is the Wahoo. This is the Dugan. Doc's got the Borden axe. What else? The Privateer. DA's got the Gunner's Mate. I mean, if you can't find a blade to suit your needs at Scallywag, I don't know what you need, because they make some of the best blades that you're gonna find.
Some of the new ones they're coming out with, I really want to get some of them.
Oh yeah, and I was looking today. There's some good prices on some of. The biggest problem is them being able to keep them in stock, because they're so good. There's a lot of stuff. I feel like Doc's trying to hit me in the head with that board.
Look how thick that is.
Yep.
Are you down with the thickness? Then get after this blade, this boarding axe.
So go check them out. Check out scallywagtactical.com. Look up the Blemish blades. Hit code DA Roberts 10 at checkout. Get yourself an extra 10% off of that. If you found you a good Blemish blade that you want to grab a hold of, you're going to get extra 10% off of whatever it's already discounted. So you can save you some money on some good blades. So that's all I got to say about that.
Don't be a biatch. Bye, Bounty.
And our other affiliate is Ken Brock, the guy who's punishing Robbie in the comments. Ken Brock's a law enforcement veteran, the tactical midget himself. Now he makes custom blades in the shop behind his house. I got the Skane-Doo. Robbie's got a Skane-Doo. That's a Skane-Doo, but they're all different because they're all handmade.
This is a street weasel.
That's a street weasel? Okay.
Correct, sir.
Well, this one's a Skane-Doo. Robbie's got the Skane-Doo. But no 2 blades that he makes will ever be identical because they're all made by hand. And I know you might think that having, 2 knife companies as our sponsors might be a conflict, but they're really not. Scallywag blades are fantastic blades. They're high quality blades, but they are mass produced. So any 2 you buy, well, one great example is Robbie, hold up your Wahoo.
Wait, no, this is a PG-13 show. I'm just kidding.
This is the Wahoo, and Robbie and I both got one, and they are identical. Let me turn mine around so you can see the other side. They're exactly the same. No variance whatsoever because they are mass produced, but they are high quality knives. Now, Brock's blades aren't like that. They're all hand ground. They're all handmade. They're hand forged. They're one of a kind. No 2 will ever be just alike, and he does custom orders. So if you've got an outdoorsman, first responder, military veteran, anybody like that in your life that enjoys a good blade, especially a hunting blade, the gift of a custom blade is something that'll be treasured for a lifetime. And you can customize color, type, blade shape, size. There's a lot of customization you can do, and Ken does an amazing job. And these aren't just made to be pretty and set on a shelf. I carry mine all the time, and they are damn good blades, high quality blades. But again, they are one of a kind.
Yeah, this street weasel rides on my belt every day, and it is a fantastic blade.
Check them out and over at brockblades.com and use discount code CRYPTID10 for 10% off your entire order. And if you order a custom blade, when you're describing the blade, make sure you mention that you heard about Brock Blades right here on the Ex MachiNation, and he'll make sure you get the 10% off.
Dagger.
This is a custom blade from Brock Blades. He will love you if you ask for this one. It's called the Doc Pimp Dagger. He loves grinding these handles out a lot. So order a lot of these. You're welcome, Ken. Oh, and this one's called the Neck Scalpel. It's because it's badass.
Henry says it boils down to how it feels in your hand. Well, I'll tell you, every blade I've gotten from Brock Blades and from Scallywag, they just feel fantastic in your hand. I'll tell
They're an
you, this one,
extension,
yeah, they are like made to be in your hand.
man.
This one, the Gunner's Mate, there are very few knives I've ever owned that felt better in my hand than this thing. And if you've read any of the William Gray Eagle stories, especially Dog Soldier,
Oh,
he uses a blade called the Ardennes. That's the next one I want to get from Ken.
yeah, the
I know there's a
Ardennes.
lot of work involved in that, but I really want one of those Ardennes.
Yeah, he was going to make one, but he had there were some problems coming back from the treater. So yeah, I too would love an Ardennes knife. That would be a badass blade.
Doc, did you see this?
Yeah. Ken, I helped Ken. When he was grinding the handles down for that pimp dagger, he looked at me and said, "This is labor of love because I really hate you right now." So,
You know, if every time he gets one of those ordered, he's going to be like a cartoon out there on the grinder, bragging, Kerry Davis, bragging.
he will. He'll be Yosemite Samming the crap out of it, man.
Resin.
That would be Ken. Ken with a red wig and really long red mustache. He could be Yosemite Sam.
Yosemite Ken.
About the same size.
Yeah, that is
Yosemite
Ken. That is Ken. He's Yosemite Sam now.
He's the rootnest, tootinest.
Frickin' rockin'. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Oh, Ken says he just needs to put handles on my Ardennes. Dude, man, I cannot wait. That thing will be my field knife for sure.
Where's my Ardennes, Ken?
He don't love you right now, Doc.
I guess not. Damn it, Bobby, get that tourniquet off your neck. You're scaring Ladybird.
Welcome back, Doc.
Ed Brown says, which do you like better, fixed or fold? Depends. I mean, I've got a pocket knife. I've carried a pocket knife in my pocket since I was probably 8 years old. So I've always got a folder on me. But it depends on what you need to do with it. I mean, that's at any given moment, I've probably got 3 or 4 knives on me, and each one of them is set out for something else. You know, it just depends on what you're needing it for. There are things I prefer a fixed blade, and there are things I prefer a folder.
Right. I carry a Benchmade 917 tactical as my folding blade because it's got a seatbelt cutter, a regular fixed blade, half serrated, and it's got a glass breaker, carbide tip glass breaker. But I also carry Ken's Street Weasel as my fixed blade. So I carry 2 knives. They both have a 100% different purpose. So it's whatever you feel comfortable with.
Generally, most days I've got either the Wahoo or the Jolly Roger in my pocket, and usually have this one. Notice I got a little ring on it. I've got that fixed over my belt and it tucked under my belt like that, so I can just grab it and pull it out. It's usually right behind my EDC med kit from Doc.
Thank you, brother.
Carry that little rascal everywhere. My next kits I'm gonna get from Doc. I'm gonna get one for the headrest of my car, and I want to get one of the big cases.
Well, you know, Jack Carr mentioned one of those big cases in his last book.
I think that is freaking awesome.
Isn't that cool?
And it was, as I'm given to understand it, they might also feature in a certain series on Netflix.
It may be there. I don't know. But whenever just like with you, whenever a author whom you love asks you to help with a scene in a book, you comply. So yeah. So if y'all read the new book that he wrote, it is I helped him write that scene. So it was pretty awesome. Just like DA. I mean, those 2:00 in the morning phone calls, I live for those, to be quite honest. So
I enjoy them too because a lot of times I write myself into a corner and I
man,
say, well, can they pull out of this? And Doc will be like, no, you killed
no,
them good and proper. I'm like, God
no,
dang it.
I'm like, nah, they dead, man. He's like, DA will be like, damn it. Yeah,
Now I got to rewrite this scene.
let's go back. Let's go back a little bit.
Little Patty, the bounty is not double edged.
No,
I can't. Yeah, there's mine.
but as heavy as it is, good Lord, you can lop off an arm with that thing.
Yeah. If you notice, the primary cutting edge is curved, just like on a Gurkha.
Yep.
But the up here, this is not edged. However, this little sawtooth ridge is sharp as hell.
Yep.
Yeah, you could saw through a tree limb, or not saying you'd need
Some other kind of limb.
You could probably saw through bone pretty damn easy on that as well.
Yeah, you could.
Bone saw is ready.
Bone saw is ready.
John Wayne Gates says, I carried a pocket knife when I was in grade school. Wasn't a problem for a farm kid. I think my first pocket knife my dad gave me when I was like 6 or 7. And I couldn't take it to school, obviously, when I was that young. But I think since I was probably 8 or 9 years old, I've had some form of a pocket knife in my pocket at any given time. I still got the old timer my dad gave me.
Whenever I was in high school, my ag teacher was like, "Hey, I left my pocket knife at home. Does anybody have a knife I could borrow?" It sounded like West Side Story in there. You know what I mean? There was knives going off all over the place, and nobody got in trouble. But
in fact, here it is. That's the old timer that my dad gave me.
oh, that is cool, dude.
Just a little 3-blader.
A little cattleman. That's a cattleman.
Yep. I've cut
Got one of those put up to my grandfather.
Cut bait with this. I've cut fish. I've skinned squirrels with it.
That is awesome, dude.
This was a country kid's best friend growing up. And, wipe it off on your pant leg and cut up an apple.
Well, yeah.
We used to go out to the orchard and pick an apple right out of the tree, cut slices off of it.
We used to do that with pears at my mama's and papa's place.
Airblood says first knife was a Barlow. I've got an old Barlow that I gave my son Nick. I've had that thing since God was a corporal.
Well, this is not as good as one of Ken's. This is the first knife my dad helped me make when I was a kid.
Oh, that's cool, dude.
That is nice.
That's beautiful.
We made the leather sheet to go with it and get a little dur on it. So this knife's almost as old as I am.
But whether you're going out hunting for Bigfoot or camping or fishing or you're doing any kind of outdoor activity, a good knife is probably the best tool you can have on you because they're so versatile. I mean, everything from setting up camp to building traps to making kindling. I mean, there's 1,000,001 uses for a good pocket knife.
Oh man,
that's why absolutely. I rarely go anywhere with it. In fact, the only time I've recently gone anywhere without one is last time I had to be in court. Still,
yeah.
I got a subpoena after all this time. I'm like, God dang it!
Yeah,
I still had to go testify one more time, but I couldn't take one into the courthouse, and I think that's the last time I didn't carry a pocket knife. That's
about it. I mean, even like when I went to Scotland, I mean, if you got a pocket knife over 3 inches, it's a felony, and you got to have a reason for carrying it. All this kind of horse crap. I felt literally naked over in Scotland not carrying a pocket knife with me because it's a tool. We open envelopes with it. We open packages with it. We cut whatever with it. It's just part of who we are.
Yeah. I don't know too many times in my life when I hadn't had a knife either in my pocket or really
Yeah.
right next to me.
Yeah.
Even in school.
It's a tool, man. Ain't it, Robbie? It's a tool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like you, dog. I had shop class growing up in school, and I carried a knife every day with me in school. It wasn't like it is nowadays. I mean, you had a knife because you needed a knife for things,
Right.
not to hurt anybody. But
No, I remember when I was in 11th grade, my high school principal said, "Hey, is that your daddy's 12 gauge Browning out in your truck?" I was like, "Yes, sir." He said, "Hey, at lunch," he said, "you got first or second lunch?" I said, "Second." He said, "Let's go look at it." So we were out in the parking lot in our high school looking at my daddy's 12 gauge Browning shotgun because me and my buddies had been dove hunting that morning before school.
When I was in high school during turkey season, we would go before school, and then we would come to school in our gear and stop by the
Yeah.
principal's office and leave our shotgun in the principal's office to pick up on the way out.
Yeah.
All they'd ask was, "Is it unloaded?" Well, yeah, I'm not an idiot. I didn't bring it in loaded.
I mean,
Just make sure you remember which one's yours.
yeah, dude. Me
There'd
and
be 8 or 9
Billy,
shotguns in the corner.
yeah, me and Billy Ray Smith is sitting there looking at my daddy's 12 gauge Browning out in the parking lot. You know, no harm done. But it's a different time, man. Just like we carry pocket knives because they're tools. That's what they are. It's just a tool. It's
No
what we
better, no
hold in our
worse than
pocket.
any other tool.
That's right. Absolutely. 100%. 100%.
Vicki Dennison says she's heading to bed. Well, ma'am, thank you for being here tonight. Hope you have a great holiday as well.
Night, Vicki. Happy Independence Day.
Absolutely. So tomorrow is the 4th of July, Independence Day, and that's a special one because we wouldn't be celebrating this holiday if it wasn't for the bravery of men and women that have put everything on the line to make us free and to keep us safe. So this is a special hats off tonight to the first responders and the veterans and the active duty military in the community and out there.
Amen.
We're thankful for everything they've done for us. We're thankful for the country we live in, and we may not be on the best path right now, but as far as I'm concerned, it's still the greatest country in the world. And there was an old phrase I heard a long time ago that said, "My country, wrong or right. When wrong, to be put right. When right, to be kept right." And I think we're fixing to put it right.
Amen. 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 Thank you to all who have put yourselves on the line. I don't care if you're a firefighter, if you're EMS, if you're hospital workers, if you're law enforcement, if you're military, you have placed the needs of others ahead of yours. And we appreciate you for that.
If you serve your community or your country in any capacity, in any
Amen.
uniform, no matter what it is, we've got your back. We support you
Amen to
100%, and we thank you for everything you do for us.
Amen to that. Yep. And Robbie, we love you too.
Yeah.
you know how I feel about that one.
I know, man. I know. You are, yeah.
Speaking
You're
from
my
somebody
people.
that's done both, you've earned it, Robbie.
I know, but I just don't feel that way.
Hey, you, right there, I'm pointing at you, right down there. Shut it, because I love you.
And
I know, I love you too, but
Yeah. You shut it, because I love you. It don't matter. You did you swear on the Constitution?
I did.
Yeah, there you
Nope,
go. Then.
there you go.
So shut it, because I love you. All right then. Shh.
Roxanne
Okay.
said her son just made sergeant first class. Hey, that's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Congratulations.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
Lyle McThompson says that Army Reserve cannon crewman, 1985, Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Cannon cocker.
Got a cannon cocker in the crowd.
Artillery.
One of my buddies was with the 318th out of Fort Sill.
Hey, DA, it's like old Robin Williams said in the Good Morning Vietnam. This is my Bob Freeman. What do you? I'm artillery. What do you mean play, Bob? I don't care. Just play it loud. Yeah. So just play it loud, man. Just play it loud. We got you, artillery.
That's right. My buddy who was with the 318th, his dad retired a lieutenant colonel. He was in the field artillery, and he had this big, freaking framed picture on the wall of his house. When I was a kid, we used to go out there, and it was a picture of like Napoleonic troops fighting, and one guy at the back getting ready to light a cannon. And the caption says, "Artillery lends dignity to what would otherwise be a vulgar brawl." Always like that.
What'd be funnier if the dude was lighting a cannon like this?
Yeah. Gonna hurt.
Hey, Robbie.
You know, we're after the hour and a half mark. We still got a little bit of time. I didn't want to start wrapping things up too early, but we are really lucky. I mean, considering the things that have gone on in the world, to live in the country that we live in, where we can go to the grocery store and get food, or we can go down the street and visit with our neighbors. We don't have to live in fear of a corrupt government that's executing people in the streets.
Amen.
Our forefathers bled and died to give us the freedoms that we enjoy today, and I'm grateful for each and every one of them. Robbie, you all right, man?
Yeah.
Awful quiet. And Doc just plumb disappeared.
Plum and Poke.
You think maybe he stepped off a curb?
He might have fell off the chair. He's underneath the desk.
Doc, climb up.
Stick your hand up. No, I was just answering in the chat. That's why I was.
K Bowers 8111 says that hospital security, we catch more poo than probably even most Leos, mostly because we don't have all the arrest power. People try to push it. That's one thing I liked about the hospital I worked at when I was the overnight security chief. We were all commissioned officers, so if things got hairy, we would put the habeas grabus on somebody, slap them in cuffs, and turn them over to PD for arrested for trespassing or assault or whatever. We had powers of arrest. So I was definitely on board with that. I know exactly what you're talking about, though, because some of those people come in the hospital and just think it's a free pass to act the fool. Yeah, it's working. I pulled my weapon more times as a security officer at the hospital than I ever did working for the sheriff's office, and that is no joke. I mean, the closest I ever come to shooting somebody was at the hospital. Where'd you go, Doc?
I had to go outside for a second.
We thought maybe you just fell out of the chair.
That's also a possibility, yes. I appreciate y'all for that sentiment.
We were telling you to climb back up, but you didn't hear us. We love you, Doc.
Nothing but love embracing me right now. Yes. I appreciate that.
So what are y'all doing for the 4th?
I'm going to be doing nothing.
Yeah, same here probably.
I was fully anticipating languishing in a hospital bed, but now that that's not happening, we're probably just going to turn up the air conditioning and open the shades and watch the neighbors tear the neighborhood up, because they do every year.
Now that your air conditioning is working, so that's
now
good.
Now that it's working. Yeah,
yes.
They had to completely replace the outside unit.
Holy smokes.
It's nice in here now, but man, for about 2 weeks, it was horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, Angie was just in Mississippi with her mom, and their AC went out, and not pleasant at all. I felt bad.
It was warm in there for the first couple of days, wasn't it?
Well, that night when we were in Combs Ferry, man, I swear to God, the humidity was thick enough to cut with a knife. It was like we were walking through soup and clouds of bugs.
Ugh. And I'm sure there's plenty of snakes around there. So, yeah.
You know, I didn't see any, but it doesn't mean they weren't there.
Yeah, we didn't.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I mean, honestly, snakes get a bad rap. Water moccasins are kind of assholes, but other than that, snakes, they're not going to bite you, man, unless they're
Unless you mess with them or
absolutely.
step on them.
Yeah, unless you like step on them and they're like, "Hey, get off me, dude!" Seriously. So yeah, I'm going to be in what next week is supposed to be super hot, which is awesome because I will be not only in like Bayou area, Louisiana, I will also be in the Phoenix, Tempe area for a week. So freaking fantastic. Yeah.
Well, you know, Phoenix, Tempe, that area, it gets hot, but it's not very humid.
Oh, no, it's not humid. It's like just, sticking your head in a freaking oven when you step,
Dry heat.
Seriously.
Freaking heat.
It's a dry heat. I'm like, it's still hot, dude. 120 degrees is still hot.
Yeah.
So,
I remember when I was a kid living down in New Mexico, we'd be out in the sun for hours and the backs of our shirts would be white from dried salt.
mm-hmm. All the salt stains on your back. Yeah.
Yep.
And you're all like mummified. Yeah.
Roxanne Delgado says, trivia question. Do you all know the highest temperature in Missouri and what year?
I do not.
I read something about that here recently, but I think it was like 119 and it was set in the 80s.
Oh my God. I don't know. That's hot.
118 degrees Fahrenheit.
I just know last year it was 108 degrees in my barn.
Roxanne says it was 118 in 1936.
Woo! Good Lord. But, climate change, am I right? But hey, it was 108 degrees in my barn last year with 8% humidity.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Dude. It's like you turned your... Yeah, it's like long pork jerky, dude. Seriously.
You had a big humidor.
Yeah, you were jerkifying yourself. Don't make it weird, but you were making yourself into jerky. So,
Harry Lowe says Saudi in 91 and the Moog in 93, both hot. I bet.
So, we went from Bosnia, where it was 28 degrees in December of 95, to Al-Karj in 96, where it was 132 degrees.
Jeez Louise.
Dude, I stepped out of my freaking tent, or my temper tent that had the air conditioning. They call the ECUs, environmental control units or whatever. It was a big air conditioning unit. 132 outside. I walked outside. I got like 10 feet. I was like, I'm good. Walked back inside. 132 degrees, bro.
Jeez.
It was hot. That's the hottest I've ever been in my life. And I was like, I'm good. Other than a C-130 on the flight line. A C-130 on a flight line, if you're running third med tech and you're pulling straps from the ceiling, it's like 154 degrees up there. It'll literally burn your hand if you touch the top of the C-130. It's hot. Yeah. JC Calloway. We get an Article 15. We didn't drink our water. Yeah.
That's why it is so critical that you hydrate.
Dude, we saw dudes that were in their early 20s getting kidney stones, man, because it was so freaking hot. You would sweat, you just wouldn't know it because it would just suck the freaking moisture right out of you. It was crazy. It was like a sponge, gone, like a
like
fart.
that in Arizona too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, by the time you realize you're thirsty, it's already too late.
Dude, I mean, and people don't understand. You lose over a liter a day. We're already behind a power curve. We lose a liter of fluid a day. And if you come to somewhere, I mean, I live at 7,000 feet altitude. If you come out here, you're going to lose a liter and a half, 2 liters a day just from breathing. It's nuts. Don't go to Pikes Peak unless you've been here for 3 days, people. Just saying.
I remember that story.
Yeah. You will get altitude sick, man.
I've seen it happen.
Even Bigfoot deals with that stuff. I guarantee you.
He done got acclimated, though.
You know, they probably have.
The altitude's not as high for Doc.
I didn't say it.
He's down where the air's still good.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I figure you get a kick out of that.
Oh, no.
Funny.
Yeah, it was funny. Yeah, Michael X said altitude sickness is no joke. Yeah. It's not, man. Park City, Utah. Absolutely, man. I mean, when I did a backpacking trip up in the Wind River Range in Wyoming, we were at Big Sandy Lake, and our base camp was 9,200 feet. Yeah. Altitude takes no prisoners, man. It don't care who you is. Sherpas have genetically superior lungs. Yes, instead of the 2.5 to 3 liters, they have 2.5 to 4 liters per side. They can have like 8 liters of O2. And like Ken says, you just can't trust all people. That's true. I agree with that.
I used to joke and tell people I was going to file a class action lawsuit against the state of Missouri for building the ground too close to my ass.
Well, hey, they almost said it, man. I have a hard time going to visit my son in Colorado Springs because I get altitude sickness every single time. Absolutely.
If you've got any kind of breathing disorder, like if you've got asthma or diminished lung capacity, that altitude will mess you up.
And I'm going to tell you all this. I live 25 miles east of Colorado Springs. So I am higher, not in a pharmaceutical way. I am higher in my area than Colorado Springs. Yeah. It's legal. It's legal. But Colorado Springs is like 6,200 feet. I'm at 7,000 feet in my front yard. So if you are not acclimated, you got to give yourself 3 days to literally acclimate yourself to the altitude out here.
Doc Don Donaldson had a question for you. He says, you're into Old West shooting. What's your favorite 45 long Colt?
Oh, man. Do you want a true 3rd generation Colt replica? Or do you want to have like what's readily available? Because if you want to go true Colt 3rd generation replica, we're going to go with the Piata Great Western 2, which is an Italian 45 Colt. And I'm my favorite ones, I've got a couple of pairs consecutively numbered. My favorite pair is a 4 3/4 inch stainless steel ivory handle grip.
Your Doc Holliday guns.
Oh, man. And if you want like commercially available, the Ruger New Vaqueros in 45 Colt, but they cannot handle the Buffalo bore loads. So you got to use a 1994 to 2003 frame Vaquero on that one. So that's my favorite 45 Colts.
Kevin Bone said, Doc, what do you think about Celtic sea salt for hydration?
It's solid, but you've got to worry about just like anything with osmotic pressures. You got to look at if you have that for if you're drinking that, one, kidney function, and two, am I going to put too much concentration of salt in my gut? Then it's going to pull fluid from where it needs to be to where it is. Does that make sense? So from where it needs to be to where, from a lower concentration to a higher concentration, to equalize the concentration, and then you could cause some serious compromise to your gut and your kidneys and all of your hydration. So just be careful with that. So I mean, honestly, our bodies have enough salt in our bones to last us for 4 or 5 days. So to add all this extra sodium in there, it's kind of a overkill at this point.
What do you think about some of the 45 long Colts that they have on Cimarron Arms?
Solid. They're solid. It's usually a U-Birdie. U-Birdie is a very close clone. Like the Pietas that I have, they're all exact identical mechanical clones to the original Colts, 3rd generation Colts.
Cimarron's got the exact replica that I based Wiley's pistol off of. And I've got
dude, yeah, it's a solid gun, man.
All those are solid guns. And a Winchester 45 long Colt to go with it.
Now, the only thing is, and if we're talking, are you talking lever gun or are you talking revolver?
Lever gun.
Okay, so they didn't start making the 45 lever gun until like the 60s, 70s because of the rim around the cartridge right here. That's the reason the 4440 was the cartridge that won the West, 1873, 1866, whatever. But the 4440 was the cartridge that won the West because the rim around the cartridge matched the extractor. The extractors would not work that well on the 45 long Colts simply because they were almost too recessed, almost like this 45 ACP cartridge here. So they were very recessed, so the extractors would work on them, so they had feeding issues. So that's the reason the 4440, also known as a 44 Winchester centerfire, was the cartridge that won the West. So that was the 1873 lever gun. That was also a movie that what's his name? Jimmy Stewart was in. So there's your. I'm sorry, that was probably a way too much information, but
you get a mare's leg from when we're going in the field.
Dude, mare's leg. Yeah, but the thing about a mare's leg, it only holds like 6+1.
But if they're, if they're 45-70.
Well, that's true. That's true. If it's 45-70.
Yeah, I don't want a small caliber one.
No. I mean, and I will say this: the Rossi guns out there, like the Rossi M92s, which is based on the Winchester Model 92s. You can shoot the Underwood or Buffalo bore 45 Colt plus P ammo through those, and those have a much higher chamber pressure and velocity. So you're talking, I mean, they are out of a 16-inch barrel gun. Those suckers are cooking.
My old Lieutenant Jenkins, Robbie got to meet him. He found a really beautiful reproduction of the outlaw Josie Wales hat. So if he bought the hat, he had to buy a pair of Colt Walkers. So he's got a pair of Colt Walkers to go with it.
Dude, those the Colt the Dragoons back in the day, those things were equivalent to what a 44 Magnum is nowadays.
Yeah, the Colt Walker was considered the most powerful handgun until like the 1930s.
Yeah, yep. They're equivalent to a 44 Magnum nowadays. The offset was they weighed almost 5 pounds apiece.
That's a lot of steel.
That's a lot of steel, son. That's a lot of
Big
steel.
iron, as Marty Robbins said.
Yeah.
Well,
That's a
fellers,
lot
we're
of
coming
steel.
up on the top of the hour. I want to start spooling things down. I want to thank you all for being with us, hanging out with us tonight. I want to remind you all to have a safe and happy 4th of July, Independence Day. Remember the men and women that paid the price for us to have that holiday, and
Amen.
keep them in mind. And again, the 22 a Day Foundation, folks. If you know somebody that's a first responder in any capacity or served in any capacity in the military, or is still serving, make sure you're reaching out to check on those folks, because holidays like this, especially folks that have a lot of PTSD, the 4th can be a very bad holiday for them. Those
Mhm.
fireworks can trigger flashbacks. Um, so just keep them in mind. And if somebody says, "Hey, I hate fireworks. I can't stand to be around them. They mess with my head," you know, take them someplace away from fireworks. Have them over. Put on a loud movie. You know, these folks, they they bring these demons home with them, and the VA does nothing really to help them with the way they should be. So check on these folks. PTSD is a nasty thing, and again, don't let the hard days win, because we've all faced them. I've had some hard ones here recently. Got a lot going on, and Doc's got a lot going on, and Robbie's got a lot going on. We've all got things going on in our lives, but that burden gets a little easier knowing you've got people that care about you and support you no matter what. And I love these two guys. I love Steve. I wish Steve could have been here tonight, but you know, these guys mean the world to me, and they're my support system. And I don't just
Yep.
call them when I question
Yep.
about a book. If I got a problem, and I need somebody to talk to, I know these guys will drop whatever the hell they're doing and spend the next couple hours talking to me. Um, and the other night when Robbie was here, Robbie got to spend last week here. There was one evening where we really weren't doing anything. We just went and drove around, and to me that was one of the best nights I've had in a good long time, because we were just able to unwind and just be there for each other. And I really wish Doc could have been there with us for that.
Me
But
too.
coming up soon, we're gonna make that happen.
I
Um,
know.
and it's always the people you least suspect are usually the ones that need it the most. So set your reminders. Remember the 22nd of each month. Reach out to your first responder friends. Reach out to your veteran friends, because 22 a day is 22 too many. And we owe these men and women everything. And the Independence Day is the perfect day to remind us of the sacrifice that they made so we can be free and we can sleep safely at night in our beds. So keep those folks in mind. Reach out to those folks. Let them know you care about them. And if somebody needs to talk, be there for them. You guys have no idea how important that is. And like we're saying, hey fucker, you awake at 2 o'clock in the morning? Those little texts mean the world. Uh, or if they know if you know somebody's going through something. These two guys have been texting me like nonstop leading up to this surgery, and making sure I'm okay, because they knew I was sweating it. And then they went and postponed it on me, so now it's nerve wracking. Nerve-wracking sons of bitches.
Nerve wracking sons of bitches.
That's right. They postponed it 2 weeks, so now I got to sweat it for another 2 weeks. I'd already be
Man.
recovering if it weren't for that. But my doctor was sick, so I think I would much rather have the doctor at 100%
Yeah.
cutting on my chest and sticking leads into my heart than at 35 or 40%.
What I say, Robbie, is like maybe important, slightly important.
Slightly important.
Slightly important. Yeah. Maybe.
Just a touch. But yeah, if you don't have somebody to talk to, reach out to one of us. I mean, now I'd rather hear your story than read your obituary. And again, don't let the hard days win. Check out Till Valhalla Project. They've got some amazing shirts, and I've got several of theirs. But my favorite is the one that says, right in big bold letters on the back, "Don't let the hard days win." Because
Amen.
you never know, the person behind you might need to hear that.
Amen.
So, check them out, and all of that goes to help veterans with. They're buying like artificial limbs and service dogs. They're doing a lot for veterans, and I'm really proud to support Till Valhalla Project. But we've been winding up the show with a toast. I'm sure y'all who've been with us for a bit know about the toast. But it's something I'm pretty proud of, and something I want to continue doing. It's a toast from an old Irish drinking song, and if you listen to the words, it's not talking about saying goodnight to the folks at the bar at the end of the night, although that's what the song is used for. But if you listen to the song, you look at the words, you hear the message, and it's about lifting a glass to those that aren't there anymore. And we're going to wrap up the show with a toast from the parting glass, and the toast is this: but since it fell into my lot that I should rise and you should not, I'll gently rise and softly call. Good night, and joy be to you all. Good night, everyone.
Thank you for joining us. Catch us again Wednesdays and Saturdays on Ex Machina. A special thanks to all our channel members and Patreon supporters. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe.